Hello and welcome to Wait, for real?
A true crime and paranormal podcast. I'm Grace.
And I'm Katie.
And we're back. And I don't sound like death
That's
today.
right. She is healed for
I've
this
been
week. Let's
healed.
let's see next week. I feel like it's like at least once a month.
Oh no.
Oh no. We jinxed it.
Well, that went well.
Rough.
Love this for us. Yes. And so now we're gonna try out the video side of things.
Yes. So if you remember, we started using a new platform so that we could record video at the same time. So if you're listening to this and you want to also see us, you can do that over on YouTube.
Yes, and maybe we'll make some like cute little bits or sound bits that are gonna go on our social media.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Also, I told
Yeah.
Grace that I was not going to be able to see her because I was going to have to pull up my article, but actually, I can see you. It pops up in the corner. So I
Damn
still see
straight
you.
it should. I was like, how are you supposed to get the full effect of my reactions?
I know. I'm like, I can't. It's also weird because when Grace and I used to record in person, we could hear ourselves speak as well as the other person in our headset, but now we can't. We only hear the other person. So I can only hear Grace in my headphones. Grace can only hear me. So we have one side off to hear ourselves because it is very bizarre.
There might be a setting for it, but we're not there yet.
That's okay. We're still in the like baby. It's infancy for this leg of the podcast.
Yes, it is indeed. Okay, so I think Katie hinted at last week what she was going to cover today.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Um, However, plot twist, I will be going over that now. There is very little information about it, so there wasn't enough
Oh,
to turn it into a whole episode. So I'm going to start with this, and then we're going to segue into what we're covering this week, which is a different serial killer. Now, there are videos on social media circulating around the speculation that there is a current and active serial killer in New England. And this
okay.
is because there have been 11 bodies were found in the region since the beginning of March,
What?
which is crazy, right? So since March 1st, a total of 11 bodies have been found in Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, fueling
Wow.
fears online that there could be a serial killer in the area. So far, law enforcement, they've come out and actually spoken out about it and said like, hey, like let's not like fuel those fires because we don't know that these are connected and we don't even know if all of these involve foul play.
Right.
Um, but this was basically started online by internet sleuths, and they've really not released any information on the victims, how they died, anything like that. We just know that the body of Megan Meredith, 45 of Springfield, Massachusetts, was found last Tuesday. And
Okay.
this article came out May 1st. So this really was last Tuesday. And
Wow.
identified earlier at the time you're hearing this last week on March 6th, a human skull was discovered in a wooded area off of Route 3 in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And when speaking to reporters, Hampton district attorney downplayed concerns that there may be a serial killer.
Well, of course they're going to downplay it.
Right. They don't want to cause mass hysteria, but which is understandable.
As we're like, we should cause it.
We're like, let's talk about it, guys. So I will keep an eye on it and update you guys as they release new information about the identities or if they even are going to
I
release
was going to
their
say,
identities.
have they said anything about like how they died?
No.
Oh yeah, this is definitely like us like stirring the pot then.
Yeah. I was like, well, okay, not to be that person, but
No,
everybody
not
else did it
us.
first. You know what I mean?
No, like I'm
Like,
not saying, I'm saying us as in like the population, not just you and
oh,
me.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Also, you'll
And
know, guys, that you can hear my cat meowing, and I'm sorry in advance.
it's
He's
okay.
locked in my bedroom, and he is the most dramatic cat I've ever had in my life, or ever met.
Yeah.
So,
Still having cat drama, unfortunately.
yeah. So,
So,
anyways, if you hear it, no, you didn't.
yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Anyways,
Okay. We're just going to dive right in to the episode per usual.
sounds about right.
Yep. So on August 6, 1988, 22-year-old Jane Borowski was on her way home from the Cheshire County Fair when she stops at a gas station in, I'm going to do my best to pronounce these towns, and I'm sure Grace will correct me if I'm wrong because this is again in the New England region, Swansea, to get a soda. While she's sitting in her car, she's drinking the soda. Someone pulls up next to her and gets out of his car, goes around the back of his car, the back of her car, goes up to her driver's side, opens the door, and starts trying to pull her out of the car. She,
What?
yes, she screams like she's kicking, she's screaming. He pulls out a knife, puts it to her throat, and says, maybe this will persuade you to get out of the car. She starts asking, what do you want? And he tells her, you beat up my girlfriend. And she's like, no, I did not. And he says, at this point, he also seems confused. And he's like, isn't this a Massachusetts car? And she's like, no, this is a New Hampshire car. Like, it's just very bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre.
Yeah, nothing is making okay.
She's thinking, like, this guy's nuts. So he steps away from her, goes to the back of her car, like, to look at her license plate to see if she's telling the truth, goes behind his car, goes to get in his car, like, very calm. But she says something that makes him turn around. And that would be, she says, hey, asshole, what about my windshield? Because during the struggle, she had started kicking him and at the same time had kicked her windshield and it broke.
Oh God, so she
So
pissed him off.
So he comes back over to her side, and at this time, she doesn't really think that she's in danger, but he pulls the knife out again, puts it up against her throat, and as he does, she sees a passing car, and she thinks, like, this is my only chance to, like, get out of the situation. Like, I have to scream and, like, try to get their attention.
Yeah.
So she makes a mad dash towards the road to get away from him. As she's screaming, the car doesn't hear her. He tackles her to the ground and begins to stab her and stabs her a total of 27 times, resulting in 2 collapsed lungs, a liver laceration, a sliced jugular, among other things.
Holy crap.
The only thing that makes this worse is the fact that she's 7 months pregnant at the time. After he attacks her,
Damn, you really just left that off, bitch.
Yeah. After he is done attacking her, he just gets in his car and leaves. Despite all of this, she's still alive. So she's taken to the hospital, and her baby both survive.
What?
Yes. And 2 months later, she does give birth, and her daughter is alive and healthy today.
The human body is wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somehow none of the stab wounds hit or affected the baby at all. She was able to protect her baby, I mean, amazingly.
What the heck?
It's not until she wakes up that her story is all over the news and she realizes that she was attacked by a serial killer. So that's what they're saying on the news.
Oh shit. Okay, also, I'm just gonna let you guys know, if Pancake scratches at the door like he was doing earlier,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw rubber duckies at the door.
Yep.
Because
So
I
if
have
you
a
hear
plethora of
noises,
them. It's me just going like this. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up.
Literally. I'm like, it's not a ghost, surprisingly. It's actually just Grace.
Just me and my cats dicking around. Anyways, okay.
I did hear him, but I was like, I'm just gonna keep going.
It's like this is my life every
Yeah.
day. I can't have 5 seconds of peace.
I know.
You hear him?
Yep. You can hear him meowing.
Here we go.
For now.
That's such a dickhead.
Let's see how long that lasts.
He's so afraid of his own shadows. I feel bad now.
Sweet boy. Oh, he'll be okay.
Well. Anyway, he'll survive.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the serial killer.
Okay, between 1978 and 1987, 7 women were found stabbed to death within close proximity to one another. So we're just going to go down the list and then go through the investigation and all of that. So
Okay.
October 24th, 1978, 27-year-old Catherine Milliken leaves work and goes to Chandler Brook Wetland Preserve in New London, New Hampshire.
Okay.
So she's a bird enthusiast. So she's going to photograph birds after a friend told her that rare ducks were found in that area.
Okay.
The next day,
she
fair. The next day, she is reported missing. Police remember seeing her car, a Volkswagen Rabbit, near a preserve during a routine patrol the day prior. So they go back out there, and when they're investigating, they find her body just 1 yard from where she had been last seen, and she had been stabbed over 20 times in the neck and abdomen. Now,
the fuck?
I know a lot of these don't have a ton of information, so I'm giving you as much as I can for them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
July 25th, 1981, 37-year-old Mary Elizabeth Critchley was last seen in Framingham, Massachusetts, near exit 13 of the Massachusetts Turnpike after being dropped off by a friend. So she's attending classes at the University of Vermont, and her plan is to hitchhike back to Waterbury, Vermont, where she lives with a friend, from exit 13.
Okay.
However, she never shows up at her residence, and on August 9th, 1981, her body is found in the woods off Unity Stage Road in Unity, New Hampshire, and the medical examiner was unable to determine the cause of death, but the circumstances surrounding her disappearance and death are suspicious and being investigated as a homicide.
Jeez. What year was that?
That was in 1981.
Okay.
May 30th, 1984, 17-year-old Bernice Courtemanche was last seen around 3:30 p.m., and it's believed that she was hitchhiking to see her boyfriend at the time of her disappearance. She was reported missing the following day, and her remains aren't found until 2 years later. On April 19th, 1986, off of Cat Hole Hill Road in Newport, New Hampshire, and she had been stabbed to death. Aside from being a high school student, she was also a nurse's aide before her death.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, she's the youngest of the victims.
Okay.
On July 22nd, 1985, 26-year-old Ellen Fried, a registered nurse, was last seen at 2 a.m. talking to her sister on a payphone outside of Leo's Market in Claremont, New Hampshire. She tells her sister on the phone that there's a car that's circling the parking lot, and after making sure that her car starts, she says goodbye to her sister on the phone, and she is never seen again.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, so on September 19th, so several months later, 1985, her skeletal remains are found in a wooded area next to the Sugar River in the Kellyville area of Newport, New Hampshire. And her cause of death couldn't be determined, but the circumstances and evidence at the scene were consistent with sexual assault, and her death is considered a homicide. This is the only case that mentions sexual assault.
Okay.
July 10th, 1985, 27-year-old single mother Eva Morse was hitchhiking home from work between Charlestown, New Hampshire and Claremont, New Hampshire, and she disappears. Um,
It's the hitchhiking for me.
yeah, very common around this time in the 80s,
I
70s,
know.
60s,
It's
70s,
just
80s.
insane.
Her remains were discovered on April 25th, 1986, off of Unity Road, which is several miles from Route 12, just 500 feet from where Mary Critchley's remains were found in
Oh,
1981.
okay.
Like the other victims, she had been stabbed to death. So these are the two that are found in the closest proximity.
Okay.
Obviously, years apart, but
Yeah.
April 15th, 1986, 36-year-old Linda Moore is last seen outside her house at 2 p.m. An hour later, her husband comes home from the store and finds her dead in her living room. She had been brutally attacked. There's no sign of ransacking or forced entry, and she had been stabbed a total of 25 times. She was a mother of two, and this happened in Westminster, Vermont.
That's
Now,
insane.
the last one is January 10th, 1987. 38-year-old Barbara Agnew went skiing with her friends on Stratton Mountain. And despite the fact that there was a blizzard, she leaves the area around 10 p.m. because she wants to drive back to her home in Norwich, but she never makes it. A few days later, her green BMW is found at a rest stop off of I-91 northbound in Hartford, Vermont, just a few miles from her home. And it's unclear why she pulled over, but the car door is found ajar, and there's blood on the steering wheel as well as in the back seat. Her belongings, also covered in blood, are found in a dumpster not far from where her car is found. And then her body is found March 28th, 1987, in a wooded area of Heartland, Vermont, near Advent Hill. And it's 12 miles from the rest stop where her car was found. She
Wait,
had
so
been
when did she go missing and was she found? What was those dates?
So January 10th is when she disappeared, and March 28th is when her body is
Oof.
found. Yeah.
Okay.
She had been stabbed multiple times in the neck and chest. So at this point, there's very little evidence or eyewitness accounts that help police in any kind of direction. So they bring
Right.
in forensic psychologist John Philpin to create a profile of the person they are dealing with. And after investigating, so when they first bring them in, it's before Jane, who we first spoke about, the one that
Okay.
survived.
Okay.
And so he tells them that the killer does a lot of driving. He believed that the killer selected sites that were low risk to him, and rather than stalking the victims, he chose a site and then would drive around, find someone, kidnap them, and take them back to the site. And that during this time, like when he had them, he quote, owns them, and they are his to do whatever he wishes. And part of
Oof.
that, he thought, quote, is a process of scaring the daylights out of them. Now,
He like gets off on the
after,
fear aspect.
yeah, so after Jane recounts what happens to her, she's able to provide a sketch of the person, which kind of helps point them in a direction. And
What
unfortunately,
year was Jane again? I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
I'm trying to like
So
remember the years.
Jane was in 1988.
Okay, okay, okay,
So the
okay.
last murder that they linked to the serial killer is 1987. And the attack on Jane is 1988.
Okay.
So the serial killer is known as the Connecticut River Valley Killer.
Okay.
And to this day, no one has ever been arrested for any of these crimes. But here are the suspects. So
What?
I know. In
That's not what I expected from this
yeah,
episode.
yeah. So Grafton, New Hampshire resident Gary Westover, a 46-year-old paraplegic, told his uncle, retired Grafton County Sheriff Deputy Howard Menon, that he had witnessed the murder of a woman likely to be Barbara Agnew. Now, Barbara Agnew is the one who went skiing with her friends, left, the car was found,
Yeah,
all
at
of
the rest
that.
stop.
That's kind
Yeah.
of like the most concrete um, case of them all.
Okay.
On his deathbed, Gary confesses that three friends had loaded him and his wheelchair into their van for a night of drinking in Vermont around the time that Barbara Agnew went missing. On the way, his friends had abducted, murdered, and left a woman in a remote location. In October of 1997, Westover's uncle Menon shared the information with authorities, but no action is ever taken.
Right.
Gary Westover dies in March of 1998, and his uncle Howard Menon died in 2006. Shortly after his uncle passed, 10 years after Gary Westover's original confession, one of Westover's aunts, so one of Gary's aunts,
Yeah.
writes to Barbara Agnew's sister with the information of Gary Westover's original confession. Now, Agnew's sister sent the information to an investigator working on a Holyoke, Massachusetts missing persons
Okay.
case that may have connection with the alleged serial killings. We're going to shift a little bit to another suspect by
What?
the name. It kind of all blends together. It's kind of hard.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Michael Andrew Nicolau, a Long Island native who had a rough childhood and was a known violent person, becomes a person of interest during high school. Michael was a competitive wrestler and a black belt in karate,
Okay.
but his affinity for violence did not stop there. He enlisted in the Army, serves as a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. He receives 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Silver Stars, and 2 Bronze Stars. During his
Jeez.
service, he was discharged from active duty for unlawfully flying his helicopter low and with 3 other soldiers, murdering civilians with
What?
bombs and machine guns. So his charges are eventually dropped, but he, not shockingly, has PTSD. So he is being treated for PTSD at a local VA hospital after he returns home.
Hold on. So you're saying he got dishonorably discharged for killing people?
For several reasons. So, one, unlawfully flying his helicopter low with 3 other soldiers, and also murdering civilians with bombs and machine guns.
Okay, so you would think that that's like jail time.
Yeah, but the charges are dropped.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. 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 Cool. 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 Cool.
Well, he goes on to marry 20-year-old Holyoke native Michelle Ashley Nicolau in Charlottesville, Virginia. And
Okay.
they moved to Holyoke, Massachusetts, which is roughly 90 miles from Claremont, which is where a lot of the crimes have happened. So in 1988,
Okay.
Michelle's family noted that she had changed dramatically after she met him. And she frequently expressed how many issues she was having with him. He
Right.
was possessive and controlling, and um, stalked her until she returned. So she had tried to go to her family and kind of escape. And so he relentlessly pursued her until she went back. She once mentioned to her family that she was afraid for her life to leave, but planned on doing so after her sister's wedding in 1988. Shortly after her sister's wedding in December 1988, her family reported Michelle missing. When
No.
questioned later, he claimed that he had never known her and then admitted he had a relationship with her. He said she was a, sorry about this, guys, this is his quote, that she was a slut that had run off with a Colombian drug dealer. The family found their apartment abandoned. Michael brought their 2 children with him. His children tearfully recalled being neglected and relocated several times.
Wait. So now he's saying he didn't know her but had kids with her?
Yeah,
My cat is fucking bananas.
he is. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it because, well, you'll definitely be able to hear it in the
Pancake!
video, I bet.
Stop!
It's because he knows that
Do you
she's
hear
out
him
there.
talking back?
Yeah.
Pancake!
So in 2001, Michael is living in Lutz, Florida,
Okay.
meets a woman named Eileen Bowman, and marries her in Vegas. The couple and their children, including Eileen's daughter, Taryn, whom she had previously had prior to meeting Michael, moved throughout Georgia and Florida several times. Eileen had similar issues with Michael, including being held at gunpoint and demanding his son run over her with his Jeep. Eileen went into hiding frequently, and in 2005, Michael discovered her and her daughter's whereabouts, and he arrived to Eileen's sister's house wearing a trench coat with 2 concealed guns. He held Taryn and her daughter hostage in her room for 3 hours while Aubrey, Eileen's sister, called authorities and waited for the SWAT team to arrive. But unfortunately, it was too late. He kills both Eileen and her daughter before turning the gun on himself.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Do you know how old the daughter was?
One moment. I
That's
can tell you.
insane.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely horrific.
Holy crap.
So Taryn was 22 at the time.
Jeez. Okay.
Yep. Now, a lot of people were persuaded to believe that he was this serial killer.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm going to read an interview with Jane that was conducted by the podcast Murder She Told. You can listen to their episode where they have Jane on and she recounts her survival story and a bunch of
Wow.
other things. It's a really great episode. But I do want to touch on the part of the interview where she talks about Michael. On basically, she hires a personal or a PI,
Okay.
and this PI like kind of latches on to Michael as the serial killer.
Okay.
She says, I had a private investigator contact me about Michael Niclau, and we did a lot of conversation back and forth for a few years. I never felt positive it was him, but I also took it with an open mind. She spent 2 years completely convincing me that it was him, but deep down, I never felt truly that way. But she had a lot of credible information, and she really tried to make it fit with Michael. Then I started hearing people say, well, this doesn't fit or this doesn't fit. So I started to question her about some of the hearsay and circumstantial things. She never wanted to really address it, the things that didn't fit, only the things that did, or the things that she made fit. I ended up severing all ties with her because she got really defensive when I was thinking maybe it wasn't him. I was in contact with another investigative journalist, and I had him look at everything on Michael Niclau, new eyes, fresh eyes, and even he said there's no real evidence that it was him. We can't
Right.
exclude him, but we can't include him. And the detectives up in Concord, they supposedly investigated all the Michael information, and they even said it's not conclusive that it was him. It took her a long time to convince me, and I never really wanted to say to the media that I felt like it was him. But she told me if I didn't say that, nobody would take us seriously. And I did want people to take this seriously. I wanted the authorities to investigate him. She felt like they were doing nothing, though they actually were investigating him. I really want them to take me seriously, so I told her, okay, I'll say it was him. I wish I didn't, but I was in that situation where I really wanted this to be solved, and I really wanted the authorities to take this seriously and investigate it. So I ultimately said it was him. I wish I didn't. I very quickly realized that she was all about media, and I kind of suspected that she was doing all this for her own agenda. So as of today, in September 2022, I don't believe my attacker was Michael Nicklaus. A lot of things don't fit. For one, a serial killer doesn't usually change a weapon. He killed himself, his wife, and his stepdaughter with a gun. There was never any proof that he has ever attacked anybody in any manner with a knife. So it's little things like that that didn't fit with him. Now, is Michael Nicklaus a bad man? He was a very bad man. That guy had a lot of issues, but do I think he was the Connecticut River Valley serial killer? No, I don't. And that's what she's
Damn.
said about it. And so she had originally come out and said that she thought that it was him, and that the sketch and him kind of look similar, but she has obviously since said no. And I think it's very unfortunate that PI did that to her because
So this PI, I'm hoping, is no longer in the business. Like, I hope they got outed at some point.
yeah, I mean, I think her name is like in a bunch of articles so people know who she is.
Yeah, so it's like if you
But
look her up, maybe you got to take it
yeah,
however you want to. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, that is just very
Holy
sad.
crap.
Yep. And as of today, it hasn't been solved. And a lot of people, as I was reading like different forums and stuff, think that, I don't know that I believe this, but they think that the deaths weren't connected.
Really?
Yeah. They think like that there were multiple killers, similar to how we were talking last week with your episode.
I mean, but weren't they all killed by knife?
Yeah. And like, so I'll send you a picture of the map, and it's all very close.
Yeah, see, like for me, like I would think just based on what you've told me, I would think it's one person.
Right. And like, that's what the profiler's kind of saying. You can tell that he was going from site to site. I mean, even two of the victims their bodies were found at the same site.
Yeah, and I don't think it's what's his name, Michael? Is that his name?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And then what was the other guy's name? That
Gary. I
Gary.
don't, so his was specifically talking about Barbara Agnew. And so I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a now I have a dog barking somewhere.
Is it Miko?
It didn't sound like my neighbor's dog, but
No,
who
it
knows?
didn't.
You know,
Maybe it's
it's just a
just,
zoo at my house.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was one person, but I don't think they have the person in mind, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think they know. I don't think it's either of the people you brought up.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's so hard. I definitely
Yeah,
don't think it's Michael. And I don't know about Gary.
that's crazy.
Like for four people to be involved in a murder, like someone's eventually going to crack, you know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
So I just don't know. I do think it's possible that maybe not every single case was connected. Maybe one was, you know what I mean?
Like
But
random or something. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. And also
because
for
there
him
are,
to go after Jane, for someone to go after Jane and then say, like, what was his argument? He was like, you threatened my girlfriend or something?
you beat up my girlfriend.
That was it.
But what's so weird is like he was going to walk away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the guy was going to leave. And
And then he just
so,
like got egged on and then
and she even talks about in her interview on the other podcast how after he had attacked her, he like slowly walks away, like very calm. And then she describes thinking like, "Oh my god, I have to get up. I have to get up right now," because he's getting in his car. And so she like gets on her hands and knees. And as he's backing out, she says he's backing out really slowly. And he looks out the window and looks down at her. And she looks up at him. And then he just drives off. She's like, he's not speeding off. He's just like lackadaisical driving
I
off.
thought he was gonna hit her with the car.
No,
Wow. Gosh.
yeah,
I mean, thank God that she's okay.
yeah,
Holy crap. This
yeah.
is there
Wild.
any other people that we're thinking about that could have been it or no?
No, not for suspects that I could find. It's hard because there's like so much information out there that is not validated. So I wanted to
Yeah, you
be
did say that.
really careful about what I did include.
Yeah.
So because I could find both of these suspects on multiple um,
Sources.
articles, yeah,
Yeah.
sources, I was like, okay, I feel comfortable including them. I'm sure if I dug even deeper that I could find, you know, like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I do think it's weird. Like, okay, and then what after Jane? He just never killed again. Like, I don't believe that for a second. I just think he either like moved on or, I mean, like,
Or died, like
yeah,
something
he
else.
died. He could be in jail.
Yeah, for
But I mean,
something
I guess
else.
I said last week, it does happen, like with the Golden State Killer, that
Yeah, that's
people do
true.
stop killing. But this guy just seemed, based on his attack with
He
Jane, you know what I
thrived
mean?
on it
Yeah,
almost.
and the level of calm that she describes is just so eerie. Like it's
Oh, I
not
hate that.
frenzied.
I
It's
hate that.
very, yeah. And
It's not
so
like a, oh my god, I fucked up. Like I should have killed her
yeah.
off or whatever. It's literally like, we'll leave her go and see what happens.
And like when she said that to him, when she was like, "Hey asshole, what about my windshield?" It's not like he turned around and was mad. Like she describes him walking back over and saying like she did not think she was in any danger at all.
God damn.
Like that's how calm he was. Scary.
Yeah, so scary.
Yeah.
Holy heck. And also, it's been now so long that like the likelihood that the person might be dead is very high,
Oh yeah. I mean,
which sucks. But
I think this may be a case that would eventually be solved if there is DNA evidence that it would be solved by like that genealogy type stuff where people are.
yeah, because you said one of them had signs of sexual assault.
Mhm. I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
DNA evidence was recovered from any of the
collected.
scenes,
Yeah,
but typically with people that use knives as a murder weapon, there is because the amount of force. I don't know if I mean people that frequent true crime know this. The amount of force it takes to actually stab someone is insane, and so a lot of
yeah.
times people's hands will slip, and
Cut their
they'll cut
hand
their
or
hand. Yeah, and so I'm not saying he did. It's just like that's pretty common.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, well, damn. So
Hmm.
what's the name of this one again? It's the
It's the
Connecticut,
Connecticut River Valley Killer. My
the
headphones are
Connecticut
slowly slipping backwards. So I'm like,
off your
okay.
head.
Yeah, they're about to just like pop right off.
I said it's because Katie has a small head.
Yeah, I
Can't
guess
relate. My
so.
head's ginormous.
I'm convinced
It's
that I just
big
ended
boy.
up having the bigger headphones somehow. And I'm sitting on my kitchen floor because I haven't built my desk yet and I don't have a chair also. So if you
It's
see
like
me like
every
moving
week.
around, that's
Yeah.
because I'm uncomfortable on the floor. I'm sitting on
I'm
a
like,
pillow, but
every week we're just gonna keep changing our background. You'll
yeah,
never know.
literally.
It's like, where are they
Like
gonna be recording from today? Who knows? Not a
gotta keep you,
studio.
you literally gotta keep you guys guessing.
Yes, definitely. Oh my goodness. Very cool. Very good episode.
Thank you.
I want to learn more about this. This is one of those ones where like we get off the phone and I'm like, I gotta Google this. I gotta see more.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, send me like
There's
a
like
Reddit thread.
yes, it wasn't Reddit. It was a different forum, but I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And there was a thought there. I think I know for sure there's a book on it.
Ooh.
And I think I was trying to find out more about the forensic psychologist, but again, it's
Yeah.
kind of difficult.
Yeah. It's
So
hard to like
it's
to
a very
validate.
interesting case.
It really is. Now my headphones are sliding.
Yeah, I was like, they're still sliding. What's happening? Okay,
You
there. Is
jinxed
that
me.
better? You jinxed us all. Why does it feel like they're just gonna
Jeez.
pop off?
It's all right. We're at the end anyways. You're doing great. But
Doesn't feel
yeah,
like it. Thank you.
if you made it this far, so thank you so much for listening. I was like, so much
Yes.
for listening. If you want to reach out to us and get in contact with us, there's a couple different ways. One, you can
Hmm.
send us an email, and that's going to be waitforrealpod@gmail.com. We have our website, which is waitforrealpod.com. You can send us a text. It's a little button that's in our show notes. You can do that. Or you can also reach out to us on social media. So our social media tag is going to be at waitforrealpod, Pod. Same thing if you're watching this on YouTube. We'll probably try to link in that, send us a
Hmm.
text or some type of feature within that as well. What else am I thinking about? If you want to support us in any way, one is going to be reviews. Reviews are
Yep.
super helpful for us because it gets our name out there, and also then one day somebody might solve a crime from our podcast. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then also you can support us so reviews are going to be on Spotify with stars or Apple Podcasts.
And then also, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you like this video, that would help.
Yeah, subscribe to
Spread
us.
it around, like, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yes. And then lastly, if you want to help support us monetarily.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, is that a
Monetarily.
word?
Yep.
Yeah. You can buy us a cup of coffee because you girls
Yes,
are broke and we need coffee in our lives, or more Coke.
that's
And you
right.
have Diet
And
Coke,
I
right?
have Diet Coke, which is just very on brand.
Oh, is that like a
I
little
was like,
can?
yeah, it's like the mini cans. It's all I can
Canadian
afford. No, I'm just
things.
kidding. No.
Just Canadian
it's
things.
it's hard to carry back like the big pack. So
Listen,
I
I
just
get it.
got the little mini one.
I understand. I
Yeah.
100% understand. But yeah, so I think that's it, right?
Yep,
All
that's
right.
everything.
Well, then let's leave it as we always do.
Go to therapy.
And don't forget to leave the lights on.